What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We're a bit late today, but better later than never, guys. In today's video, we're gonna do a guide on no one else but Gliseah Soulguide. I actually managed to pull her on the 10x. I didn't have a chance to do a guide on her when we had her on the test server during the Christmas time. And here we are. I feel like she's a bit underestimated as a champion. She looks awesome design-wise. I really thought that she was going to be the fusion champion, honestly, when I've seen the design, the avatars of... when I've seen the champions' avatars from the data mining information before the fusion was announced, I thought that she was the one during Christmas. But the main idea with this champion, guys, she is pretty unique, okay? So this is going to be more of an endgame guide for Platinum Arena, Gold Arena, for some cases, of course. The main idea is... on the A1, she has a small chance of landing freeze, a debuff spread on targets that are under freeze. On the A2, you don't need books. Honestly, if you want to use her in PvE for Doom Tower, Clan Boss, or whatever you want to do with her, if you manage to pull her in your early game, mid game, you don't have enough champions to run everywhere, she can give your team weaken without needing any books. If you pair her with a different champion that has freeze, she can steal a random buff, or you can rely on her to do the freeze with the A3 and A1. And when I'm talking about pairing her with champions that do freeze, make sure that is not Pixniel, okay? She doesn't deserve to be in this team. Now, the main idea is on the A3, we get immunity for 2 turns on our team, and then we have a 60% chance, fully booked 80% chance to land freeze, and she gains a bit of turn meter for every single freeze she lands. Decent, okay? But what's very interesting on her is timeless. This champion skill cannot be put on cooldown. Whenever an enemy tries to put either this champion skill or an ally skill on cooldown, places a freeze debuff on that enemy and a 50% chance of denying the cooldown increase effect. The freeze debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. So she can be pretty good against Warlords. Now, I'm not really talking about offense, guys. I don't personally have a Hegemon in my defense team while I'm doing Platinum Arena, but the most common team to farm them are Arbiter, Warlord or Kaimar, Tranda and Amoli, all in immunity. So a lot of Warlords attacking your teams in Arena, guys. And Warlord, once he locks you, is pretty much game over for your entire team. Yes, it can be a bit more annoying for them because they're taking your turn meter down and they might stay in the fight 5-10 seconds longer, but your team cannot do nothing, okay? You do have the RNG from Stone Skin, the RNG from Swift Parry if you're using that set. You have the RNG from Reaction, but what if you're putting more RNGs to force the people to don't use Warlords against you anymore? Your team will have a much better chance at winning more fights in defense, okay? So I have her built on a Stone Skin set, an Immortal set, 2 reaction pieces, and an accuracy banner here. I have her built mainly for defense, okay? I don't care about having resistance on her since I have her on Stone Skin. For whoever doesn't know what a Stone Skin set does, it gives us a buff that reduces damage tremendously, and we cannot be debuffed, okay? It's a 50% chance to be removed or not. You farm this set from the Hydra Clan Boss. In terms of total stats, 69k HP, 4k defense, 221 speed, 439 accuracy. I would actually reduce some of the speed on her most probably. Accuracy wise, I feel like I'm fine at around this accuracy. Usually whenever they attack me, they won't be having tons of resistance on all the champions, so we can get a sneaky freeze here and there. I haven't really prioritized tons of accuracy either. And if we're going at Masteries, you see I actually have tier 6 Fearsome Presence to have a slightly higher chance to land that freeze. That gives you 50 accuracy more if you don't want to get that and go for Eagle Eye instead. In terms of Masteries, that works pretty good as well. I actually got Rapid Response. Since we're going to get immunity, we're going to get more turn meter on her, and we're going to rotate a bit faster. But that's kind of how the champion looks like, guys. Let's take her in for a spin, and first, I just want to share a couple of things. So if you're looking at some of the arena defenses during reset right here, you see we have Hegemons everywhere, okay? And all these teams are mainly getting attacked by immunity teams with Arbiter, Molly, Tranda, and either Warlord, either Kymar. But mainly is Warlord. And they become a pretty easy farm, okay? Because you lock them and you might need to take a third nuke in order to take them down, but it's 30 to 40 seconds, and that's a pretty good time to farm most of these teams. But it's all because of Warlord locking your entire team, okay? Now, if you put this champion instead of one of those champions in your defense, they won't be attacking you in the same way. And it can become pretty interesting. Now, I have some clanmates of mine already using this champion in defense. Personally, I kind of said it like, man, you're putting her in defense, but people, they just won't attack you with Warlord anymore. So it's not really a point. But because I don't have those sort of defenses and I'm not really getting attacked with Warlord as much, I kind of underestimated that she could be good for many other people out there that are getting slaughtered by Warlords every single time. It's not a champion that I would personally use in offense, for example, okay? Because it's a 50% chance to get screwed, so I'm not a fan of that. I prefer to give the enemy RNG when they attack me over screwing myself over with RNG, you know? So I actually put it here, for example. Let's just say we run a similar defense like that. And Solus is kind of like one of her enemies, and Ramantu is her nemesis, okay? Just for the simple fact that we can lock her passive with a Ramantu. Now, if we have the Stone Skin set, that doesn't actually happen anymore. So that's why it's good, but it's a 50-50 chance in order for that not to happen. A lot of RNG, man. Like, that's what Arena is nowadays, since the Swift Parry and all these crazy things coming, and I'm sure they're gonna bring us more RNG things into Arena, which I gotta say is interesting, but is not that interesting at the same time, you know? So we might actually get stripped and get wrecked instantly here. We're gonna see depending on how the RNG goes. Okay, they stripped the set from me. I'm not sure if I got locked, but we managed to freeze that Warlord. Again, we freeze Warlord, we freeze Kymar, and my Warlord locked them, okay? So it's kind of like game over, but not game over at the same time. For the simple fact that now they're all kind of like screwed over, and it's gonna take them a while to kill my team because she denied the increased cooldown on that Warlord. And this team is super common, guys. Like, the team you see right here in that defense is so common for offense. Like, you guys know it, for whoever is using this to attack teams, is definitely a very common team. And what I see, we can actually land the freeze through immunity on that Warlord, for example. So that's a pretty interesting thing as well. And if I would have this defense is already going over 1 minute, many people will avoid it, okay? Because they don't want to come back to it on and on and on. So it's definitely a champion that can have some sort of potential in the right team. But it's a 50-50% chance. So I'm actually going to back out of here. Or I could prolong the fight a bit longer. Maybe that Duchess is going to get in another revive. Who knows? Is she going to get it? Let's see. No, she's not. So it's game over for me. Now that Solus is going to clap me. Yep, that's it. But 1 minute and 36 seconds. Pretty decent. How I specify? I really thought like, well, people, they're just gonna skip teams with this. They're not gonna attack you with Warlords, and that's about it. They're gonna use a different champion instead. And it's true, but if you manage to deny 5 attacks on your log because people, they got scared and they were like, well, I'm not gonna attack this team. I cannot attack it with Warlord, and the chances for me to win are pretty low. I'm not gonna go against that team, you know? So I feel like that's a good response if people are kind of like, no, I'm not going there today, you know? Let me see if I can find a couple of other teams. This is a decent example, but it's not really an offense team. Not a team that they would come with to attack you with. This one, again, not the right team. I'm trying just to find a team that could be a good example, you know? This as well, no. Come on, guys. Put a nuker in there. Put a nuker in that team with Warlord. Okay, this is with literally her biggest nemesis here. It's definitely not gonna work against that. Ramantu is kind of like her main countering here, you know. Okay, this one looks better. This is a very common team as well. Very, very common offense team with the Rotos. Rotos is so powerful when he's together with Siphi, guys. It's just crazy. Now, let's see how is this gonna play out. Okay. I think we got locked this time around. She has the stone skin. Let's see. Is she gonna give us that? Yes. And Warlord just locked them. Nice. And the good thing about it is that Siphi cannot do nothing to take this off from Rotos. So the fight is already gonna take longer for the enemy if he decides to attack you with this team. Now, if you would bring a Kaimar, you might have cleansing accessories on your Warlord and lock them, so more RNG comes into play. But the main idea is that the fight gets prolonged just because she is in your team and people, they want to attack you with Warlord, you know. Definitely, I wouldn't use her in any offense teams, like not at all. I would completely scrap that off the list, and I wouldn't do that, you know. But you see, we lock them again. The fight is gonna take longer. Now Rotos probably is gonna hammer that Duchess, but it's still a pretty long fight to go on, you know. And that's a very common offense team, 100%. 100%. Okay, we can actually back out of here. I just wanted to kind of show you what she could potentially do for your team, you know. Of course, this is more towards Platinum Arena, guys. In Gold Arena, not many people, they're gonna attack you with Warlords constantly because they're gonna change teams around. But for reset and stuff like that, I feel like she could definitely have some pretty good potential. And probably we won't be finding many other teams around. The freeze is decent. I like that we can actually penetrate the immunity and still land the freeze on the enemy. That's a good thing. But yeah, guys, Gliseah Soulguide, she actually has a bit of potential and not just the looks, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments down below how many of you guys are already using this champion. How many of you guys pulled her on the 10x? When was it? Last week? 2 weeks ago? I can't even remember. But that was all for this video, guys. Much love. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.